This is a very important choice where you take your vehicle, and you should not be based on like the bottom line number of an estimate. It's irrelevant. The estimate is dead. Just forget about it. It's just a piece of paper. It's a starting spot. It is not representative of how or what is going to get done on the vehicle. It is going to be so much bigger than that once it gets in and gets disassembled and all the correct stuff is done.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Airing of Grievances. I'm Eric Reamer, this is Robert Grieve, and we are grateful that you are here with us. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's nice to have you along. If you see something you like, we encourage people to go ahead and give the thumbs up, and don't forget to click the subscribe button and notify bell. That lets you know that we are launching another episode. Or if you're like one of our longtime regulars, you know that if it's Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. in the Mountain Standard Time Zone, we're live and going with another episode for you. Robert,
Happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday.
My dear friends, happy Saturday.
And welcome back.
Ah, yes, it's good to be back.
You just got back from a week-long conference in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Multiple conferences, actually. The gathering of the Society of Collision Repair Specialists, the Collision Industry Conference, and a couple of other things that are going on out there.
Crazy stuff.
Give us a quick report. How did it go? And did you do good?
It was one great meeting right after next. A lot of things talked about. And, I think we're making a difference.
All right.
We're making a difference. Everybody's got to just do their little part, and we can push this thing in the right direction. And it was great seeing so many friends, and it was a great time.
Nice.
It's a great time to be in the industry with these rock stars.
See, love that.
And me.
And you. All right. Well, we love that, and so on. So today we're going to talk about a discussion that took place while you were out there.
Yep, one of the panels. All the panels were amazing, and one of them really caused me pause. Maybe I'm getting too old for this, and it's future disruptions, and it's time to get my son to start going to these things and plan for the 5 to 10 years from now, the way cars are going to be sold. And
you heard it here first.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's an accelerated period of change in history. We used to say our grandfathers grew up in a radically different and evolving. My grandfather had horse and buggy, right, and then rocket ships to the moon.
Yep.
But these days, it seems like it's exponentially folding on itself,
compounding every day.
Yeah.
Compounding with the new technology and the new way things are designed and how you have to approach them. And while I was away, we sent other people here to other classes with Toyota and Lexus, and the stuff that they're bringing back. If you don't take your vehicle to someplace really that knows your vehicle, that there's a possibility anymore they're going to do more damage than good trying to fix it.
Yeah. And there's actually a decent segue to what we're going to talk about today. Taking your car to a shop that knows what to do with your car.
Yeah. So one of the panels was Danny Gridenberg is the chairman of the estimating committee.
Okay.
And they handle all things estimate related.
All right.
And I think one of the biggest things that came out of that panel was we need to just stop using the word.
Okay, so let's back up for just a second, and for the benefit of those who are watching this, I'm going to ask you what we're going to replace the word with, but what does the word estimate mean to you?
Okay, well, and I hardly speak for the industry. I speak for me.
Understood.
Estimates are, they're dinosaurs. It's, it's typical. It's what we've learned all our life. You have an estimate, you have an accident, go get an estimate.
Yep.
But estimates on today's vehicles are not like estimates on yesterday's vehicles.
Sure. Why?
Well, because there's so much behind all the covering that you can't see. And
vehicles today are largely computers.
Yeah.
Right?
More and more computer than anything else.
Yeah.
But so you may think that you want to go get an estimate. I'd like you to rethink about that, and maybe you're going to use, I want to go get an estimate for, I want to go interview the shop. I want to go talk to the people, find out their knowledge base, what's their training base, what kind of other cars, do I see other cars like mine on the lot, and can I get a tour of the shop?
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to fix my car? The estimate is meaningless. Estimates today are really just to document a point in time and initiate the claims process.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in many cases, estimates are now, these days, reduced to a series of photographs
there's
stuff that you can only see. Nobody's taking apart the car.
Correct.
You're just documenting what you can see.
And we're talking about, what we call curbside estimates, or you drive up to the shop and we walk out with our pad and our camera and we make some notes and so on and so forth. It is not representative of what it is going to take to repair the car anymore. What you really want is to be convinced that that's the place you want to take your car.
Yeah.
And not convinced by anybody else. You want to be convinced. You
Yourself.
want to be convinced. You're
Yeah.
the consumer.
Right.
And this is a very important choice where you take your vehicle. And you should not be based on like the bottom line number of an estimate. It's irrelevant. What's going to happen is wherever you decide to take it to, the car is going to come inside the shop. It's going to be meticulously disassembled,
Right.
God willing, and cataloged each thing, and then repair procedures are going to be looked up, and to understand the type of equipment that's needed, do we have it, all the rest of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the parts and
Let me just pause you for just another moment, because you said something that caught my attention. You said that we meticulously disassembled, and then you stopped and said, God willing. And the reason you say that is because not all shops are equal.
no, they're not.
Not all shops put the same level of attention to detail into the process of disassembly and subsequent development of that repair plan.
Right. So we're trying to make the distinction between an estimate,
Yeah.
which is done on the curb, and a repair plan / blueprint.
Okay?
All right. So it's really a piece of engineering.
That's a great describer for it, the blueprint, because we know what a blueprint is, right?
Yep.
It tells you where every nut, every bolt, every
It's how the
2x4
vehicle is going to get repaired.
Yeah.
And the only way to tell that is to have it disassembled, maybe do some measurements and check, alignment spec, do all sorts of different things depending on the damage.
Sure.
But an estimate can take 15 to 20 minutes. A repair plan or a blueprint can take 4 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Depending on the vehicle,
Sure.
the damage, all the rest of that. It's not a quick, you can't just walk past it, write some notes down, and here, consumer, this is what it's going to cost to fix your car. It is not representative of that. A blueprint is much closer.
Yeah. You said something just before we came on the air here that caught my attention, and you talked about no one can tell you the route or the way that energy travels.
You can't look at a car and tell the load path of the energy traveling through it and how much damage that has done until you take it apart, find the evidence, measure the vehicle,
Right.
and they're very intricate. There's especially today's cars with pedestrian protection.
Sure.
I mean, fenders are mounted on very thin small brackets that move very easily, and the point of that is if bicyclist hits your fender, the fender is going to bend on those mounts and take the energy off the bicyclist.
Yeah.
And you can't see what some of the panel alignments may be showing you. You would think is maybe there's frame damage, but maybe it's just brackets bent, or maybe it's the other way. The bracket's bent and the frame is bent.
Okay.
Or, you just cannot tell by standing there in a parking lot looking at it. Okay, you can say it might need, I can see it needs a fender and needs a bumper, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It is not representative of what the repair is going to look like.
If you look right here on the video, you can see there's a car aligner back there, and that piece of equipment is designed to measure in microns the distances that are accurate and what to tell of whether or not the frame is
it's
messed
our
up.
version of a CAT scan. It's we can tell that's a three-dimensional machine that measures. Basically once the computer gets hold of the measurement, the initial measurements, it lifts it up in the air, and now we're measuring spots in the air to know where the car is, and is it left, right, up, down, in, out, or a combination of all that. You cannot tell that.
Yeah, none of which can be told from the curb.
You can tell that there's damage. You cannot tell the extent of the damage.
Right.
We just looked at one that we knew the frame was bent. The question now is it, and we could not see anything further than that other than we knew the frame was bent just because of the way the body was.
Sure.
But in a parking lot, you can't tell if that's something that can be pulled and repaired or has to be replaced until you get the thing apart. So what does the estimate say? We're going to set it up and measure it, and we're going to pull it.
It's a starting place.
It means nothing.
And I think it's important to tell the average consumer that when you get that estimate from wherever and whomever, that's not the number that you should look at and say, oh, this is only what it's going to cost.
It's not representative of anything. And the thing that makes it even more confusing is no matter where you go and take your car for this estimate, the insurer is going to come in less. And so now what we're doing is we're breathing into this thing for the consumer all sorts of uncertainty. And, oh my goodness, the insurance company is less than the place that wrote the initial estimate. Both of them are meaningless. I'm telling you right now. It doesn't mean anything until you get the vehicle in the shop. It's meticulously disassembled, measured in most cases, and everything cataloged as to what needs to happen.
The proper repair procedures pulled from the original equipment manufacturer.
Absolutely. That can take hours all by itself. Not only pulling the procedures, finding the procedures, and then, okay, I found the procedure, now I got to read them all. I mean, I just read one that, they use a bonding agent and rivets, so it's rivet bonded to put a rear body panel on a floor.
Okay.
But in the process, they want you to put it into the booth and bake it at 175 degrees for a half hour to cure that bonding agent. Well, many shops don't even have heated booths.
Buyer beware.
It's these sorts of things. You as a consumer, you're not going to know that that's what needs to be done,
right?
Or be able to ask that question because you don't know what the process is.
Right.
What you want to know is that they are looking up the manufacturer's processes, and can provide them to you if you ask for them. It's a lot of paper, and they're engineering documents. They're made by the engineers that built the vehicle, so we know how to rebuild the vehicle. And
it sounds like common sense. Unfortunately, is not yet all that common in practice.
Yeah, and the interesting thing was there was two insurers on this panel.
Yeah.
And so Danny was asking questions of the whole panel, but some he made specific to the insurers that were there. There were two of them, and they said, "Look, we write estimates. I'll walk by, I'll write what I can see, initial estimate, get the claim going, send an initial payment out. It's up to the body shop to create the repair plan, and that's what I go off of throughout the rest of the process."
Yes. They said
that
they trust the body shops to do the right thing.
Yeah, and the body shop is the owner of all the liability.
You bet it is.
And the body shop is the one that is responsible for doing the correct repairs, not the insurer. The insurer does not insure correct repairs were done.
They should pay for the correct repairs to be done.
And these were two very, very good insurance companies. And the rest of the panel said, I wish we could clone you guys and have you all over the nation.
I'm sure that's true.
They were talking common sense, the way it should be done.
Yeah.
I think the point of it is that we need to look, your insurance company may say, hey, take some pictures and send them over to us. They'll create an estimate off the pictures.
Right.
You can only imagine what that's going to be.
Estimates are useless.
Yeah. They may send you to us or somebody else. They may not to anybody. They may say, go find a body shop. Here's a list of our preferred people over
Right.
here.
Don't
But
go to the preferred people.
don't never go to the preferred people. And they want us to take pictures and prepare the estimate,
Right.
curbside estimate,
Yeah.
and then send it off to them. And then they come back at half of that, which, well, wait a second.
Yeah, insurers
we're
have-
looking at the car.
Insurers have adjusters, and their job, by way of their own testimony, is to adjust the estimate down.
Yep. It sure is. It sure is. So anyway, it's a time for you to interview, get a sense of confidence that you're in the right place, or some people say or do things that are questionable, and you're like, well, you know what, maybe I need to talk to some other people.
Red flag.
And, getting to the right place is critically important on today's vehicles.
Yeah, more now than ever.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's what I have to bring to you today. The estimate is dead. Just forget about it. It's just a piece of paper. It's a starting spot. It is not representative of how or what is going to get done on the vehicle. It is going to be so much bigger than that once it gets in and gets disassembled and all the correct stuff is done.
And there you have it, my friends. Rob, happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday to you.
Always
My dear
to you.
friends, have an amazing week.